it to you. Oh, there it is. Hey, y'all. Uh, First, let me apologize in advance for the lighting sucking and the stream probably sucking. We just finished up a tornado warning here, and our Wi-Fi got knocked out. So we're having this through 4G. But we're going to go ahead and cut these pied eggs. And the reason we're going to cut them is because I checked them today because it's hip day, it's close to it. They could go tomorrow. But we noticed this. And so,
Nobody's on.
you know what? I bet I didn't make that. Oh, you know what? Hey, yeah, they are. People are on, dear. It just takes a second.
Okay. Hey,
See?
Chris.
We got one. We got one person. One's enough, right?
One's enough.
Is it
Three.
Three.
3.
Okay.
8.
There it goes. Now we're rocking. So as I was saying, I apologize if the stream sucks. We're in my office at home because everything in the reptile room's been moved, and we're having to use. I didn't think about doing these egg cutting videos when I moved everything. We're having to use our 4G because the Wi-Fi got knocked out during this last round of major storms we just had, including a tornado warning here. So good times. But we're going to cut.
We apologize. There's
a mess. Yeah, it blew the door in.
towels, water.
Everything else we're dealing with. Oh shit, my checkbook. Don't want that to get wet. Put that over there. So anyway, we're going to cut clutch 12 here. And clutch 12 is pied to pied. And it's pip day or close to it. But I want to show you something. So this egg here appears to have gone possibly bad. I don't know if it's the eggshell is dying because the baby's ready to come out, or if what's inside has died too. So we're going to cut it. This could be a horribly bad experience. We may all be hacking and gagging, and because of that, I'm going to go with that one last in case it is disgusting inside, so you don't have to smell it too long. But we're going to work our way around here. These should be all visual pieds. They're a pied to pied clutch. So let's get rolling. And I don't have high hopes for that egg, but hey, look at that. It's a pied.
What?
What? But it looks to be a very high white pied. Look at all that white movement in there. Looking really good. But there you can see a little splotch of our normal orange color we're used to getting in there, and some orange on the top there. So what we're seeing is a side. So that's going to be a really nice one. I'm really excited to crawl out. You know, the nice thing about pies, even though I know these are all pied is just so much variables in pies.
What type of pied was this?
It's a
Just
pied.
a regular pied?
Yeah. Of course, we've selected our breeders, and we've been producing these pies that are very high orange. So you'll see a lot of orange in our pied. Of course, this is another pied. Let me get a little more open for y'all on that one. That's a really interesting look.
Hi, David.
That looks to be a little darker than what I'm used to seeing, honestly.
David, I had my water aerobics tonight.
Very cool. So 2 pieds. And again, if we didn't get a pied, I'd be like really surprised. And there you can see what I'm talking about. This is the color I'm used to seeing on my pieds as babies. That super, super bright orange. So that's what I'm always looking for. This one you can see what I'm talking about looks a little darker.
No, Andrew, no pumpkin pied this year.
No, we are raising that female up, but like typically pieds seem to take forever to raise up. So
you know what, David? Matt doesn't really do water aerobics, but I think he'd be excellent at synchronized swimming.
No, he wouldn't. You'd think for a fat guy I'd float but sink. There's a lot of orange. Also looks like it's what we can see appears to be pretty low white, but really cool pattern nonetheless. Of course, there's some movement in there. So 2 more, and then the one that's probably going to be a disaster. And it feels pretty hard, so it's not going to be well. But we're opening it anyway.
I think a lot of people would pay to not see Matt do synchronized swimming.
Maybe that'll be the next Patreon thing. If you don't subscribe, I do synchronized swimming
That's
videos.
right. David said it's because you're made of muscle that you sink.
Yeah, we'll go with that. Might have worked 20 years ago. Again, another pie. And you can see here, here's something really cool I want to show you guys. Whoop, dropped the flap, so I want to show you. So you know you're not cutting too early. See how those veins have dropped, the major ones? That's a good sign that we're not too early. Definitely alive in there. All right, let's open another one.
It would actually be really funny if Matt was slightly intoxicated. Can you just imagine him flopping around in the water?
Well, they know cutting eggs. Like, I'll probably never cut eggs drunk because my fear of hurting the babies.
I was talking about cutting eggs. I was talking about synchronized swimming.
Okay. I'll do a lot of stuff drunk, cutting ball python eggs. I sharp instruments around my animals.
Oh, are we going to do another Reaper video anytime soon? Just Reap?
You probably could. Another pie. Look at that. Really good looking. All right, guys. I'm probably have to throw this out, but let's cut the bad egg. It feels... Here's what I tell you. So, you know, when in doubt, incubate it out. And if we lose that egg, that sucks. It'll be like the third egg we've lost. I mean, we're still running about 95%. So we're running right about where I normally run, you know. But I hate losing anything, especially late term. And the thing with this is, so let's say we lose this egg here. That's a bummer, but we still incubated it out. Wanted to see where it was going to go because it just started going south on us recently. So I don't know what I'm going to see in here development-wise, but I don't expect to see a live baby. If we do, that'll be awesome. We're not going to because I just got some nasty gunk on my scissors, which tells me that this is not going to go well.
Sorry, Jennifer. This is a surprise egg cutting. We've had a tornado warning and hail and all sorts of fun tonight.
It's gone bad. We'll see where at in the process. Not as long term as I had hoped. So that's bad. So what we're gonna do is we're simply gonna remove it just so it doesn't, you know, have any fungus that gets on anything else. I'm gonna throw it out the back like a baseball, and then we'll get back to doing this. So I'm gonna go ahead and hop up off of here. So we did 6 out of 7. Not horrible, not great. I prefer 7 out of 7, of course. But you can't, you know, if we hatch 95%, I'm pretty happy with that. Happy and content being two different things. I'm never content until I'm doing 100%. That doesn't mean I'm not happy with 95. 95 is really good, and that's what we've done the last 2 years, and I expect to be somewhere in that same ballpark this year. So I'll take 95%. Doesn't mean I'm content. Does mean I'm happy. So 6 pies, that's great. I'll go ahead and tell you guys now too. For those of you that follow what we do, it'll probably never see the light of day for here, but in case it does, I do plan on using one of these pies for my charity sale this year to help sponsor. We should be able to sponsor at least one white tiger with that for the year. So that'll be really cool. I'm excited about that. I like doing things like that. And one of my challenges to anybody breeding is once you're paying your own bills and you know you're doing those things, if you could take something, just something, and donate it to a charity, to a cause you care about. You know, I care about big cats. So
Christopher Sexton said Patreon might be down. It's not loading.
Patreon could be down. We'll have to just check on that. There's been storms. I don't know where they keep their stuff at.
And
if
Jennifer,
it is down, then I'll owe you guys alive, and I'll catch up with you all. Probably wouldn't be tomorrow. I have a meeting tomorrow, but probably Thursday. I'd get you guys an extra live because I know I would owe that to you. But one thing I want to say though, and that's my challenge to all of you who breed, is if you can take one animal a year and donate it to a cause you care about, I'm telling you, man, the world's going to be a better place and you're going to feel better about yourself. We started doing that very early on. We said, hey, we're going to do it when we get to this point, and then some things in life happened that didn't allow me to wait. And so we've given to our local animal shelter. We've given to the family of a person who was murdered, who was a reptile breeder. We've given to a friend of mine who was suffering brain cancer, and we've recently started giving to an animal sanctuary for large cats and other animals. So it's all things that I feel very strongly about, and I wish everybody would do that. And I know a lot of breeders do, but that's my thing to you is if you can just do one small thing to make what you care about better in the world, I mean, we're gonna live in a better place, right? So, anything question girl you want to get to?
Yes, Chris Sexton said it was probably just him. It's loading now.
Oh, good. Well, I can realize
Next is Jennifer wanted to know about the Manhattan show. And Jennifer, it's always Labor Day weekend, the Sunday of Labor Day weekend. So it is already come and gone. And then did the caramel clutch damage your hatch rate this year?
It doesn't damage the hatch rate, and here is why it doesn't. So when I consider my hatch rate is not what the baby does once it's out. That's a number I should probably track and start tracking differently. It's are they alive? Like, do we cut them? Are they in the egg? Do we take them from the A to F or Z or whatever you want to say alive? So that's what I look at, and everything in that caramel clutch when we cut it was alive. We had 2 that were not able to exit the egg due to the kinking being so bad, and I couldn't recognize how bad it was. 2 that were so bad I just euthanized, and then we had 1 caramel that did survive, out past. So they were hatched alive. This counts as a no-go because when we get to hatch day, cut day, it's deceased. None of those were. Those went full term. What I'm testing there on my hatch rate is my incubation methods. And making sure my incubation methods are strong. Here, trade me spots, dear.
Okay, I don't want Mallory to run out.
Okay.
We got oh God. Just let in
A big moth.
big old moth. So now we're gonna have like the
Castle deal.
the moth game tonight. Someone really likes the moth.
All right, guys. So anything else we got on there we need to address before I send over to Patreon and go clean my hands?
I don't think so. I think we're good. Let's see. Hold on. Christopher DeJean said that, hey, I have a C Atrox that was surrendered to me. I was told it's a red phase. She does have a ton of red in her.
Here's what I'll tell you. I've had people tell me they've had red phases before, and even large people with a lot of experience. And then they see ours, and they just go, holy shit. So, you can get them that are kind of a reddish, but it's not necessarily what we're dealing with here. And that's not me saying that somebody's telling you wrong and that you're wrong. I'm just going to tell you that it's very likely different than what we're dealing with, unless it came out of the same place, and I highly doubt it did, because nobody's supposed to be there getting those where those come from. So I'm sure it's really cool, but and for anybody who's been here and seen my blood in person, my blood diamond, I mean, it's night and day.
He said it's red, but not as red as yours.
Right, and that's why I'm saying it's probably a different thing. So there are some that do have a red in them, but it's not, it's a whole different, like, it's such a drastic different, like, it's almost, I mean, it's why we think it may be genetic, and why we're hoping it is. I'll give you a prime example. So you guys saw we did an interview with Tom Crutchfield. One thing I did off the camera is I was talking to Tom. I said, hey, I got this really cool snake. It says Western Diamondback, and they're red. One of them is especially red. And he went, yeah, I've seen some red ones. And I said, I don't think I've ever seen like this before. And it was like, yeah, I've seen some, blah, blah, blah. They're out there. So let me show you a picture of this. And he's, of course, thinking, okay, it's going to be the same thing I've always seen. And I pulled up the first picture. I said, here she is. And he goes, oh my God, I've never seen anything like that. So let me show you another one, different light. And he said, yeah, I don't know what you've got, but I've never seen anything like that before. So it is such a drastic difference that when people see it in person, it's a breathtaking moment from what you're expecting. Dave Kaufman's been here. He got a chance to really see her in person. I know David Whalen's comment on here. He's seen her in person, and she is just, she's amazing. So we're very fortunate on that. Anything else, dear?
2 questions.
Sure.
Marcus wants to know, how many years have you had snakes? And then let's see. Zachary wants to know, I'd like to get a snake. In your opinion, what kind would be the best as a starter?
Let me cover that one first. I'll go back to the number of years I've had snakes. Best starters are ball pythons are very, very good, and so are corn snakes. That's what I would recommend. I prefer ball pythons just because of the size and the way they move. I think they're a great first snake. I'd steer away from giant snakes. No, anacondas, no retics, no berms. They don't usually make good first pets. Boas are kind of sketchy on that, just because of the size. Although my first snake was a boa, but corns and balls are probably my favorite two to say on that. How many years have I had snakes? Well, I am currently 38, fast approaching 39. As scary as that sounds. I got my first snake when I was, well, I had one for about 4 days, I think, when I was probably 13, that my brother brought back from Florida and gave me. I think it was a rock python, if I remember correctly. And it got in our Christmas tree, and my mom was already like, this is not happening. And then it really wasn't happening, so she sent it back with him. So that was very short lived. But my first actual snake was when I was 16 or 17. I got it from my high school science teacher. You know, I agreed to take care of it for the summer. My mom was like, no snakes in the house. I'm like, yeah, I know. So I stuck it in my girlfriend's house. I then just bought it from him because I liked having it so much. I didn't want to bring it back. And I had that for a number of years. And then I didn't have snakes for a bit, and I got back into it around 7 years ago, maybe 6 years ago now. So a long time. Back in the 90s, like probably 97-ish, I would say is when I got my first snake. Anything else for a hop off?
There's a couple more that have
Okay.
popped in.
2 more. We'll answer 2 more that Question Girl picks. Then I got to jump off and get over to Patreon. I know this is a little bit short tonight, but I want to give those people some time.
Do you have issues with PETA harassment?
I don't, because I don't put up their shit. So here's the thing with PETA and other groups like that. You know, if you want to be an animal rights person, then okay. I love animals. I want animals to be kept properly. I want animals to, you know, like, do I think the average person should go out and own a tiger? No, I don't. That's why I donate to a tiger sanctuary, right? Do I think the right person can own a tiger? Yeah, I do actually. But the idea of don't ever eat meat, you know, we shouldn't use any leather, we shouldn't do that. It's just so laughable. And when they get here, and I do occasionally have some people from that line of thought, and when I start doing this, you know, they don't bother me, because who are they to me? They're nothing. They're not going to change the way I think, or change the way I act, or change what I do. If anything, they will push me more to the brink to be a bigger asshole than I normally am. So I don't sweat them. They're just, you know, they can go do their thing, and I'll just continue to do mine. And it'll be like that. Now, if it was an honest debate and they were reasonable and I'd be open to talking to people, absolutely. But they're not. They're all like radicalized morons for the most part. So anyway, next question after I went on my tangent
Okay.
about
How do you and Kurt know each other, and how did you go into starting a business? Yeah, how do you and Kurt know each other, honey?
So
This isn't awkward.
nah, it's not awkward. So Kurt, I met Kurt because he's my ex-wife's cousin. True story. And marriage fell apart, but that part of the family kind of kept me anyway. I would imagine why. So Kurt became my best friend through that, and then of course I got divorced, and we just stayed friends, and you know that's kind of how that went. And the way we started the business together was literally playing cards and drinking beer. I used to run before I was married and just dating. I had a guy's poker night, and I'd gotten into snakes, so I had snakes upstairs, and then my neighbor got into snakes because I had snakes, and then Kurt wanted to get a couple, and so he was buying snakes, and he was keeping them in my house because his wife wasn't going to have that in his house. I had plenty of rack space. So we, you know, poker night turned into take care of snakes and then play a little cards night, and it just kind of went from there. And then it got to a point, it was like, well, this is kind of dumb, you know, we're like, these are yours and these are mine, and we wanted to start rat breeding and do all this. We're like, let's just throw them together. So I couldn't tell you, you know, where it started, and that's how we went into business together. If you ever do that, man, you better damn well trust who you get in bed with in a business, because, I mean, they can financially screw you over and vice versa. So, you know, Kurt and I have there's a lot of faith and a lot of trust in each other to do that. I mean, we own property together now as a business and all kinds of other things. So you do really have to believe in the person you're working with. So I would caution anybody into doing that unless you really know who you're getting involved with. All right, that should do it for today, unless that spurred anything that we need to
Nope,
address.
let's head over to Patreon.
All right, guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.